want to get muddy knees. Look at that. When you hear that click, you know that's in. Anyway, you just caught me doing some pipe work. Who doesn't love seeing a bit of bricklaying action to start the video? Because I think it gets a bit boring seeing me at the start all the time going, hey guys, it's Mitchell here from ABM Build. So I thought we'd switch it up, show the guys behind the scenes, cracking on with work, and it also shows the other faces behind the business as well. So we've got the bricklayers cracking on today around the front. They've nearly got this front extension up to plate height, ready to accept our pitched roof going up here. Now, if you haven't seen the last video, then make sure you click the link. But this is going to create an enlargement to the existing entrance hall, whilst also providing a new utility room to this side of the extension. So we've just got one of our other guys, Ewan, just doing some pipe work around the back here, making some adjustments, and then the bricklayers can move around to this side and get that up to the right height, and then we can progress with the roof. Let's take you around the back and show you what's going on there. Around the back, we have the A-team progressing well. They're now going to install the cavity insulation. So what the cavity consists of on this build, like many others to be fair nowadays, is insulated board. That's all right, don't worry about it, mate. Oh, should we turn it down a bit?
Turn it off, just press it.
Before I got rudely interrupted, what I was going on to was the cavity filled insulation. So what we go for is an eco-firm board. Now this is about 100 to 120 mil thick. It varies depending on what's been designed. So I built their outer course now. They're going to install their cavity insulation and they're going to build their block work up. Previously mentioned, there was 2 sets of sliding doors. We've saved 1 set of sliding doors in the house. We're going to try our best to reuse these. Otherwise, the client is just going to get a new set and we'll install them along with the other windows. So on this extension, like the Dorking build, we've gone for a block and beam oversight. This is because of the pipes running below. You don't want to have any downward pressure. So this distributes the load from one load bearing element over to the other. This area is going to be split up into almost 2 zones. We're going to have open plan kitchen and then dining room located over here. And then through this set of sliding doors, we then go on into what will be the living room, which is just going to be a renovation of that. So let's jump inside through the side door and give you a little update on that. As we've stepped into the snug, you're going to notice how we've removed this load bearing wall coming along here. This was just taking the deflection of these joists as they also joined on this wall as well. What we're now going to have to do is install a new RSJ going from this load bearing element and carrying over to this section here, which is why we left this nib of around 300 millimeters. This will be cut above, ready to accept the new RSJ. And then this will become some extra storage, also opening it up, making the room feel a lot bigger. I think the guys were expecting a zombie apocalypse because they've really enforced this window opening here, which they've had to adjust. I mean, they've gone to the extra extent of making sure that's safe, but there we go. So this stub wall here has been pushed back ever so slightly to allow for a bigger shower tray, because that is going to be the downstairs bathroom and we're renovating that area along with all the other rooms in the property. Other than that, not many other changes are happening here. I mean, the electrical box is going to be moved to the other side of the wall, pushed into the utility room, cleverly hidden behind some units, I imagine. This wall's going to get cut back here, going to create a larger entrance hall. So whilst the works have been progressing on this project, the guys have been busy elsewhere, making sure things continue to run like clockwork so guys can move from project to project. On the other side of Horsham, we've got 2 jobs conveniently on the same road. So the first one consists of a first floor extension, creating a new ensuite to the existing master bedroom, along with other internal alterations, including an enlargement of the existing landing, whilst also removing a little shower enclosure as well. We've also got a carport, which the guys have been working hard on. Now this features some oak beams, which look lovely, and this also provides the perfect shelter for any parked cars on the driveway, whilst also enhancing the aesthetics of the home. Further down that road, we've got a job which just consists of various structural internal alterations to create that all-important open plan living space, and also creating a large opening for some bifold doors. As well as that, we've got a new cloakroom on the ground floor, a new family bathroom, plastered ceilings throughout, and newly installed solid doors throughout. That's it for this project today. However, we're going to take you onto the other side of Horsham and show you what we've got going on there. So we're now over at one of our new projects that we've recently started. We've done a few down this road actually. We have a couple extensions and 1 loft conversion last year, which looked very nice. So this project consists of a external renovation, upgrading the look of the home, going for more of a contemporary modern look. You'll see this with the re-roof that we've just carried out. Nearly there, just got some asbestos that we've got to get taken out professionally. So we've gone for like a grey black tile throughout. This is going to match the new windows, so they're going to be going for complete new windows throughout the entirety of this property. And they're also going to be going for aluminium, which is quite a slim frame, which is going to look really nice and modern. This front door area is going to be changing. They're going to be going for a new front door. They're going to be going for some cedral cladding here from millboard, and they're going to be replacing this white window over here with a single pane of glass, which is something we call like a picture frame. And then we're also going to be changing this window here, leading on into the garage. Now we've got some soffit fascias left over here because the guys have still got to install that on the roof, which we'll show you in a second. Don't fancy hopping over there. Oh yeah? So, let's take you around to the back garden where we are also going to be installing some new composite cladding throughout the rear of this property. So we're just taking a second there to admire this beautiful garden that they've got behind. So what they're going to be doing into the rear of the property is they're going to be upgrading all of these windows, like I said, and they're going to be changing them for aluminium black. And we're also going to be installing some composite cladding coming down to top of the existing windows on the ground floor. This is going to continue round to the left side halfway and then round to the right side halfway as well. On that far corner over there's a little side passageway which leads you into the garage. Now Darren is busy cracking on there, creating a new door opening. Then we're going to create a ramp coming from the garage out into the garden, providing the client with access for bringing a lawnmower to carry out any grass cutting, I guess. Let's jump upstairs and show you some changes that have been made with the windows. So I was actually here yesterday with my brother Brandon, who's behind the scenes. Comment below if you think he should come on camera. I've been nagging at him for a long time. He's slightly taller, a little bit uglier, but he's got a lot to say and really intelligent when it comes to the design process of the build. So we were measuring up these windows here because these windows are going to be remaining the same, 1, 2, 3, and then these windows to the right side of the house, they're going to be slightly wider, and we're also going to be removing one of them as well. At the minute, this bedroom on the other side of this wall has 2 windows. The client wants to get rid of one of the windows and create a larger window, roughly going around 1.8. So we were working that out yesterday, trying to make sure it works for brickwork prior to us ordering it, so we don't shoot ourselves in the foot when it comes to installing them. We're also going to be changing soffit fascias to the rear, which the guys have been starting. They've gone for a black ash soffit and fascia to match the tile, and then we'll also be changing the downpipes and gutter throughout. Let's take you up on the top of the scaffold just to give you a little snapshot of how the roof is coming along, and we'll show you the asbestos. So the tile we've gone for on this build is a Marley Edgemere. It's quite a slim line tile. It's interlocking as well. Also, it kind of looks a bit like a slate tile, which is quite nice. So the guys have been progressing with that. They've got the rear to finish and a little bit on the front. But what we uncovered last week was asbestos, and not the good kind. Well, none of it's good, but this is really not good. So whenever we come across asbestos, like we have done here, we always send it over to a company who test it for us and then come back with the results and let us know if we are able to take it out with the appropriate PPE, the mask, the goggles, the gloves, the suit, the lot. And quite often than not, that's the case, we can take it out. But on this example here, we've got like a Chrysler tile and an Amosite tile. I think those are the names, correct me if I'm wrong. And this is an insulating board. So this is one of the stronger kinds of asbestos, meaning that we have to get the company to come out, put a tent up around this area, believe it or not, just to remove this section here and the section running along down there. So it's about 8 meters. It's quite an expensive way to get rid of it, but it's the only way of getting rid of it, and sometimes it just has to be done for the build to progress. On the flat roof on the garage, we've made some changes. Now they've now gone for a warm deck roof in comparison to a cold roof. So you're going to see that kind of build up on the next project we show you, but essentially a warm deck roof is where the insulation sits on top of the roof, and the cold deck is when it sits in between the joists. So the insulation got installed, OSB on top, sandwiched it all in, and then they installed their 3 layers of mineral felt throughout, which is quite a typical flat roofing system. So let's jump inside now and show you some of the internal alterations that we're going to be making to this home. So straight off the bat, this is going to be where we're carrying out some of the works inside the property. We're going to be increasing the size of the existing entrance hall, making a larger space, taking it on into the existing garage, which is where Darren is working now. You'll notice how the ceiling's vaulted in this section here. We're going to be extending this over all the way over, removing this flat ceiling and then installing a solar panelled roof light, which is going to project more natural light into this hallway, as well as creating a feeling of space. Behind the cameraman is where we're going to be renovating the downstairs bathroom. This is all going to be getting stripped out and modernised, as well as bringing this existing door forward further back into the hallway, creating a larger space. So we're now standing in the existing kitchen, where we're going to be making a few structural alterations. This wall here is going to be coming down. This is where the existing cylinder is stored. This great big lintel here, which is picking up the chimney breast. Going back and forth with our engineer now, he's coming up with a different design where we can move the support further up, creating a larger area, because they're going to be going for an air source heat pump system, and this is where the new cylinder will be installed. Now the depth isn't quite there, so we're going to bring this forward and put some double doors in that as well. New kitchen units wrapping all the way round. This wall is going to actually be remaining, and our new island is going to be coming off of that, and then we're going to be getting rid of this little utility room section in the corner here, creating that larger kitchen, and then you're going to have your row of units going along that side. All walls and ceilings, well, majority of the walls on the ground floor are going to be getting re-skimmed, and we're going to be getting rid of this Artex throughout the entirety of this home, and upstairs we've got a lot of plastering going down as well. So I just quickly laid these two courses of bricks along here, believe it or not. Comment below if you think I've done a good job, but this is going to create an enlargement of the existing entrance hall, allowing for some storage, little boot room, little coat room, little hang your coat, hang your boots, whatever. Don't hang your boots actually, put your boots in the cupboard, hang your jackets, and then we're going to be installing a door here which leads you on into the garage. As I mentioned outside, the client wants to be able to take this lawnmower out through this door, so that's where we're going to install that ramp, as the ground level here is a lot higher than it is over there. It's around 1.5 metres, maybe higher, so that ramp is going to allow easy access. Now that's it for this project. Luckily we've still got time, so we're going to head over to Dorking now and give you an update on that build. So for those of you who have seen some of our previous videos, you'll recognise where we are today. For those of you who haven't, click the link above and you'll be directed to our Dorking project, which is where we are now. So in the previous video, the bricklayers were hard at work getting the brickwork up to the first plate height. Once they were at the first plate height, it then enabled us to carry out the flat roof construction, as well as installing several stills throughout this property, creating that open plan space below. But we're going to start outside on the scaffold, give you a little rundown of what the construction is and what the guys have been busy doing over the last 2 weeks. Yeah, go on then. Go on, Spider-Man, show your skills. Things we have to get these cameramen to do these days, eh? Look at that. He was a rock climber in his previous life. For the last 2 days, the guys have been busy installing the remaining of the stills. We've got two which are bolted together here, which take up the rear of the property. These are then bolted into a further steel which runs along the full length of this home. So we've got our prop pal needles in here. When installing stills, you have to make sure you prop up the existing brick and block work. So these come in handy and provide us with a large space, allowing us for a lot of movement when it comes to putting the stills in. Once the stills are in place, we can then install our brick and block work, filling the void and making sure it goes off before removing these. So we tend to leave them for about 2 days just to be safe, and then we can take them out. Just before we go into what's going on here, Joe is just showing off how level this joist work is. Oh, look at that. Fantastic. What a level, by the way, as well. So this section here is going to be where the double story extension is going to be happening. So we've installed all our joist work, and then we've put down our 22mm chipboard, and we've gone to that extra extent of making sure it's all protected. You don't really have to do that, but we want to go the extra mile and make sure no damage is caused to the floor. Now we're at this stage, it allows us to then get our bricklayers back from our previous job and get them over here so the project continues to run like clockwork. And then once we get up to our plate height, we can then construct our roof, which is going to be following the same shape as this. However, it's going to be stepped back a bit because that's something we had to make sure we included when going through the planning application. So this morning, one of our carpenters, Joe, has been busy installing these ceiling joists and the finished wall plate here. Now this is going to be ready to accept our lean-to roof once the brickwork has been taken up to plate height. So we're paused out here now until next week when the bricklayers come back. Let's jump inside and show you some of that steel work. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Right. So we've just come through what will be the new front door leading on into the property. Where Joe's working currently is going to be where the downstairs cloakroom is going to be, and then next to that is going to be the new utility room, which leads out into the side passageway through a door that we're going to be installing. This area over here is going to be one big open plan living space. Now this has been achieved by installing various steels over the course of the last 2 weeks. We've got this one big beam here which comes all the way along here, and it's joined over there with a splice detail supplied by our engineer. We've then installed these 2 steel columns which come from a pad on the ground, which is roughly around 650 by 650, about 450 deep. This varies on each individual build, as you can imagine. These are bolted to the floor and then bolted to the steel above and also concreted in. This steel carries all the way over and joins onto this main one over here, which is the biggest one which we installed. This carries over the full width of the extension and takes the weight of the majority of the steels. This one here is the one that we bolted together yesterday and has now been bricked above. And then this allows one big open plan space. Over here is going to be a beautiful set of bifolding doors, which are going to fully concertina to one side. And I imagine they're also going to go for a lead opener, but that varies from different clients. And then this is going to be the opening for that roof landing, which is going to be projecting a lot of natural light down. They're going to be going for underfloor heating throughout this extension, and they're also going to be going for underfloor heating on the last project, but I forgot to mention that one, so I'm sure I'll get told off for that. And then over in this area, the existing oversight, which is this platform here, is going to be getting taken up, allowing for the underfloor heating to go down, and then we've got that continuation of a seamless floor throughout this whole ground floor.
Right guys, that's all we've got time for today, but I hope you've enjoyed looking around our projects, looking at the tradespeople work, including myself. Mitchell got his hands dirty today, which doesn't really happen. Stay tuned for the next one, and
Don't forget to like, subscribe and leave a comment behind. See you on the next one.